Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving deep into something that's, well, more than just a buzzword, isn't it? We're talking artificial intelligence and machine learning in biopharma. But not just as tech trends. We're looking at them as core operational engines. Our goal here is to unpack how AI and ML are fundamentally reshaping drug development, manufacturing, even patient care, really moving beyond just, automating old workflows.
Absolutely. And the scale of this change it's huge. We're not talking small adjustments. It's a complete reimagining of how the industry operates. So this deep dive hopefully gives you a shortcut to really grasping this critical shift happening right now in life sciences.
Okay, let's get into that. So AI and biopharma, it's not brand new, right? We've seen bits and pieces for a while.
So it's been around in pockets.
But what feels different now, what's really revolutionary, is how broad and deep the deployment is becoming. It used to feel sort of confined, maybe mostly to early drug discovery, almost niche.
Exactly. And the big shift is that now AI touches, well, pretty much every single part of the pharmaceutical value chain. We mean everything from that initial R&D idea all the way through manufacturing and even post-market surveillance. And in 2025, look, AI isn't just doing tasks faster, it's making strategic decisions. It's interpreting complex regulatory data, driving quality control, even helping select patients for clinical trials.
Making strategic decisions, that's the key difference.
It really is. It's moving beyond just efficiency gains. It's about a fundamental shift in decision-making, driven by data at a scale humans just can't manage alone.
Can you give us a concrete example of that? Something where AI is doing more than just automating.
Sure. Think about regulatory submissions. Historically, that's a mountain of manual work. Now you have large language models, things like GPTs, actually drafting significant parts of these submissions. They're writing SOPs, standard operating procedures, even helping out with audits. That frees up the human experts for strategy.
Okay, that's significant. What about on the, say, manufacturing side?
Right, manufacturing, computer vision. You've got algorithms scanning thousands of vials for tiny defects, imperfections invisible to us at incredible speeds. That's quality control humans simply can't match.
And the big pharma companies, they're not fighting this. You mentioned J&J, Lilly, Merck.
No, they're actively embracing it. They're launching these big internal AI literacy programs. The message is clear. The speed of innovation now really depends on leveraging AI, not resisting it.
So understanding this isn't just for the tech folks anymore.
Not at all. If you're in biopharma or even adjacent to it, you really need to understand what's happening here.
Okay, let's zoom in on the start then, the lab. Early discovery, R&D. We all know the traditional story, right? Drug discovery is slow, incredibly expensive, failure rates are sky high.
Painfully slow, often a decade or more, billions spent.
With, often nothing to show for it at the end.
Exactly. And this is where AI is really flipping the script. Think about machine learning algorithms screening billions of potential drug compounds in silico. That means virtually in the computer.
Before any wet lab work.
Precisely. Before touching a test tube. Predictive models simulate protein folding, how a drug might bind, potential toxicity, all simulated first. This drastically cuts down timelines. Identifying viable molecules used to take years. Now it can be weeks.
Years to weeks. That's transformative.
It completely changes the economics of early R&D. And then you have generative AI. These tools aren't just screening existing stuff. They're designing entirely new molecules, designing them with specific, desirable properties, potentially skipping years of trial and error.
Are there platforms doing this now that are becoming standard?
Oh, yes. Companies like Atomwise, Benevolent AI, DeepMind with AlphaFold, these aren't experimental anymore. They're becoming staples in the R&D toolkit.
Wow. And you also mentioned omics data, genomics, proteomics. How does AI handle that complexity?
Yeah, that's another huge area. AI models can sift through these massive complex data sets, genomics, proteomics, transcriptomics data specific to individuals or diseases. They find patterns, potential biomarkers, new drug targets, things that were frankly invisible to human researchers just, say, 5 years ago because the scale of data was just overwhelming.
So it's not just faster, it's enabling fundamentally new discoveries.
It's genuinely redefining the scientific method in drug discovery.
Okay, so AI speeds up the lab work. But then comes clinical development. That's the big hurdle, isn't it? The most expensive, highest risk phase.
Absolutely. The clinical trial phase is where many promising candidates fail and costs balloon.
So how is AI tackling the pain points there?
It's hitting key areas. Patient recruitment, trial design, and real-time monitoring. Let's take recruitment. Finding the right patients is always a bottleneck. Natural language processing, NLP, tools can now parse electronic health records, doctor's notes, lab reports.
Not just keywords, but understanding the context.
Exactly, understanding the nuance. Matching patients based on complex criteria, genetics, comorbidities, past treatment responses. It goes way beyond manual chart reviews or simple searches.
That must speed things up dramatically.
It does, and it helps find patients who might otherwise be missed. Then there's trial design. AI can simulate virtual control arms.
Meaning you might need fewer patients on placebo.
Potentially, yes, especially for rare diseases where finding enough patients for a traditional trial is incredibly difficult. This can accelerate approvals. And during the trial, AI systems monitor data in real time.
Looking for problems.
Right. Anomalies like sudden dropout spikes or maybe inconsistent dosing patterns. Catching these early prevents the whole study from being compromised, leads to shorter timelines, lower costs, and importantly, better data integrity.
You mentioned finding patients. Does this also help with diversity in trials, making them more representative? That's a big push from regulators like the FDA.
Yes, absolutely. AI can analyze demographic and health data to identify underrepresented populations. This helps researchers proactively design trials that better reflect real-world patient diversity, which, as you say, is increasingly expected.
Okay, from R&D through trials, let's move to the factory floor, manufacturing. Because a great drug needs to be produced reliably, safely, consistently. You called AI the brain behind smart manufacturing.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. You connect AI algorithms to all the IoT sensors on the production line, the equipment, and suddenly you shift from being reactive fixing things when they break to being proactive, predictive.
Like predicting when a machine might fail.
Exactly. Predicting machine failures before they happen. Or automatically adjusting parameters, temperature, pressure during the production of complex biologics, ensuring consistency. It can even spot microcontaminants, tiny things the human eye would miss.
That seems critical for the really complex therapies coming online now. Cell and gene therapies, sensitive biologics.
It is. Batch-to-batch variability is a huge challenge, a major risk with those therapies. AI helps ensure that consistency. It uses feedback loops to keep everything uniform, vial to vial, batch to batch.
And what about the regulatory side of manufacturing? All the documentation, inspections?
AI helps there too. These systems are constantly logging, validating data automatically. That makes regulatory inspections much smoother, improves traceability. It's all moving towards what they call continuous manufacturing, where AI is essentially orchestrating the whole process, making it self-optimizing.
Okay, R&D, trials, manufacturing. Now let's shift to the patient end. Diagnostics, personalized medicine. How's AI changing things there?
This is where deep learning has had a massive impact, especially in medical imaging, radiology, pathology. You have AI models trained on millions of scans, X-rays, MRIs, pathology slides, and they're getting incredibly good, sometimes even better than human specialists, at detecting early signs of cancer or neurological conditions, cardiac risks.
Earlier detection means better outcomes, potentially.
That's the goal, catching things earlier, more accurately. But it goes beyond just diagnostics. We're moving towards truly personalized treatment plans.
The old dream of personalized medicine.
Yeah, but AI is making it much more real. It can integrate a patient's unique genome, their full clinical history, lifestyle factors, even real-time data from, say, their wearable device.
Wow. So paint that picture. What does that look like?
Imagine a patient's wearable feeds real-time vitals into the system. AI analyzes their genetic profile alongside their history, and it helps generate a tailored therapeutic regimen, maybe even adjusting it dynamically as the patient's condition changes or responds to treatment.
That sounds incredibly futuristic. Is this actually happening or still mostly theoretical?
No, it's happening now. Maybe not universally in every clinic yet, but pilot programs are running at major academic medical centers. Biotech startups are building platforms for this. It's definitely moving from sci-fi to reality.
So AI's impact is clear in the lab, in trials, manufacturing, patient care. But what about sort of behind the scenes, the enterprise operations, the regulatory stuff?
Right. It's having a huge impact there, too, even if it's less visible. Take regulatory compliance. We mentioned drafting submissions earlier. Generative AI is helping write investigational new drug applications, INDs. It's updating product labeling, creating clinical study reports.
Taking over the grunt work.
A lot of it, yes. It reduces the sheer volume of manual review, freeing up regulatory professionals to focus on the strategic aspects, the interpretation, the tricky questions. Or think about pharmacovigilance monitoring drug safety after approval. AI can scan vast amounts of data, Real-world evidence, social media posts, case reports, spotting potential safety signals much faster, much earlier than traditional methods.
That's critical for patient safety. What about other areas like HR or the supply chain?
Yeah, in HR, AI is helping forecast workforce needs. What skills will we need in 5 years? It helps recruit specialized talent, creates customized training, and the supply chain, which, has become so critical lately, AI is huge there. It's anticipating potential shortages, evaluating vendor performance, planning for geopolitical disruptions or shipping issues.
So it's not just about efficiency, it's about resilience too.
Exactly. It's dynamically managing risk in the supply chain, optimizing logistics in near real time. That's something human teams struggle to do at that speed and scale.
Okay, it's really clear. AI isn't just one piece of tech here. It's becoming this fundamental capability woven across the entire biopharma value chain.
Absolutely, from the very first idea in the lab right through to the patient and all the operations supporting that.
And the takeaway for organizations isn't just buy some AI software, right?
Definitely not. Adopting AI effectively requires real organizational change. You need robust data governance. The AI is only as good as the data it learns from. You need to embed AI properly into your quality systems, your compliance frameworks, and critically, you need workforce training, building that internal AI literacy so people understand how to work with these tools.
Right, because when all that comes together, that's when you really see the benefits. Faster time to market, better quality, lower compliance risks.
Exactly. Those are the tangible outcomes when it's implemented thoughtfully.
So to wrap up, maybe a final thought for our listeners to ponder.
Well, given how fast AI is evolving, maybe the question to consider is this. How might this relentless pace force biopharma to redefine not just its processes, which we've talked a lot about, but maybe its fundamental structure, its culture? How does the whole organization need to change to truly leverage these algorithmic insights for the next wave of breakthroughs?